Welcome to Roadtrip Roulette, a travel podcast with your hosts, Juliet
and Kevin. We're two friends here to serve as your tour guides on a virtual visit to a randomly selected U.S. town. We're going to bring you the local stories that you didn't think you'd care about and highlight the small town silliness that we all know is just beneath the surface.
Join us as we explore America one town at a time to discover the little things that make it great and sometimes not so great. Buckle up, we're about to start the show. Hello and welcome to Roadtrip Roulette.
Hi, welcome to the Valentine's Day special.
We have a very special episode. In honor of Valentine's Day, we found just two people off the street that we thought we'd bring in.
Just some other people.
Yeah, to record an episode.
I don't know how far we want to go with this.
So we have two special guests with us.
Yes. First, Miss Amy.
Hi.
I might remove your name later. Hello.
Yeah. We might remove last names. And also, Chris is here.
Hi.
Yeah, Chris has his own podcast, and he's here to join our podcast for a few minutes. So thank you for coming here.
I'm happy to be here.
His podcast is called Scars.
It is called Scars.
With an exclamation point.
Oh yeah, punctuation is important.
Well, Amy, tell us about your podcast.
I have 0 podcasts. I feel like the odd man out here, but that's okay. It's all right.
That's okay.
There are more podcasts than human beings on the planet.
I know, what a waste of time this is. What we're going to do is we're all going to pick a town together.
Right.
Break for 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm. We used to set a strict timer 8 minutes, but we might be flexible. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, then we come back and talk about whatever stupid we find in 8 minutes.
Right. A special Valentine's Day couples edition of the Friendship Podcast.
Ooh, should we pick a place where we should go on a Valentine's Day date in that town?
Yes, and then we try to cobble together a Valentine's Day date in the town we find.
Look, we're finding the episode as we're
we
recording.
go.
There we are.
Done.
Okay, so where are we going today? Wonderful question.
Right. Well, we got to fire up the old city picker to figure that out.
Yeah, where's that?
Roadtrippod.com. You can use it yourself whenever you like for all your city picking needs.
No W's. Don't try those
just
W's.
Don't worry about W's.
All right, so.
All right, here we go. Give it a spin.
Spin in, land it on.
Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Gaithersburg.
Well, it sounds like romance to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Maryland is for lovers, right?
No,
That's
that's
Virginia.
Virginia. But Gaithersburg is for...
Is her gay thing? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, let's find
We'll
out.
find out. Okay, we will take a break, do some research, and through podcast magic, be right back.
BRB.
Okay, we're back.
Welcome back to the Valentine's Day special, is what we're all calling it.
We should. All about Gaithersburg, Maryland.
I like that there's no ambiguity in how to say it.
What if we're saying it wrong?
We could absolutely be saying it.
What would be another way to say it?
Gaithersburg.
Gaithersburg?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's Gaithersburg.
Or it could be Gaithersburg.
Oh, silent.
Yeah.
Gaithersburg.
Maybe.
We're not going to
Actually,
worry about
Did
it.
anyone look up how to exactly say it?
No, I just assumed we knew what we were talking about.
No.
Oh, wait. Do you want
Is it
to hear the
pronunciation?
Wikipedia pronunciation?
Gaithersburg.
Gaithersburg.
Yeah.
Gaithersburg. Gaithersburg.
So that was obviously a man recorded that. That's
Yes.
not a computer voice.
No, it was a guy who said
Gaithersburg.
Gaithersburg.
All right.
He sounded very unexcited about.
Do you think there's somebody who does this for every town? Just like records themselves saying the name of the town so people like you don't get it wrong?
I think that was a man who from Gaithersburg who decided to contribute that recording of his own voice to Wikipedia.
Yeah. I mean, he sounded defeated.
Yeah.
So I believe that he's from there.
That he wished he was doing something better with his day. So Gaithersburg, pretty big town.
Big town. Do we have any statistics?
Yeah, about 60,000 in population. 4th largest incorporated city in the state of Maryland.
All right.
After Baltimore, Frederick, and Rockville. It's considered a suburb and a primary city within the Washington, D.C. statistical area.
That makes sense.
It does. Do you want to know more stupid facts about Gaithersburg?
Sure.
It was incorporated in 1878 and became a city in 1968.
Oh, took its time.
It sure did. It was a rural farming community until around the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
So the problem with towns like this is that you're kind of standard, plain American towns that have all, chain stores, fast food restaurants, a lot of, like a standard town, and sometimes it's hard to find interesting things when there's more than, say, 2 businesses in a town. But don't worry, we did it.
Some towns put all their businesses in one little area.
Yeah.
Like a mall.
Yes.
So, I'm taking your segue here.
Please do.
I found a mall.
Great.
The Lake Forest Mall, which is an abandoned mall, I believe, built in 1978. It was just sold very recently. It says, this dying mall could be a big opportunity for Gaithersburg. This is an article I read on the Greater Washington online newspaper. So they say, this week, Lake Forest Mall in Gaithersburg sold at foreclosure auction for a fraction of its former value, suggesting it's in serious trouble. But it could be a huge opportunity for Gaithersburg. But will city officials take advantage? So we got this mall, all these great old stores in it. It's a 2-story mall, 1 million square feet, built in 1978. And I read the comment section. People had their ideas why the mall failed.
Okay.
Let's just say they were very classist. I won't be reading any of those. Though this guy, who was kind of racist, he does say it would make a great site for a hospital or a casino. So,
Kevin, it sounds like this is an investment opportunity that you're considering.
I am considering it. 1 million square foot mall as a home outside of Washington, D.C. I think it's a perfect place.
Laser tag arena, maybe?
Well, they have a hockey arena.
In the mall?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm
So,
interested in this investment
I started
opportunity.
looking up memories that people had
Sure.
of the mall. Because there's like weird websites that people write this stuff. I was reading. This guy, Eric, he said, I skated the rink at the mall every weekend. Played many hockey games there. So many awesome memories. And now I eat lunch in the food court with my son in the same exact spot I used to skate 30 years ago. So that's telling. So the hockey rink is now a food court.
Now a food court.
And it's also not an abandoned mall. Because so there's that.
Kevin's learning as he reads.
Yeah, I do my homework here. So this woman, Michelle, also said, oh yeah, that rink was great. Used to skate there as a kid. Also, the movie theater there, my mom took me to see The Big Chill. I recall all of the employees wearing tuxedos. So it's fun memory.
That's a really classy setting to see The Big Chill in.
Yeah, very, very much. This woman, Tanya, recalled learning to ride her bike in the parking lot there. This guy, Jim, he says there was a venue in this mall that he saw the Temptations who were appearing, and they finally parted ways with David Ruffin, who was like the main vocalist for the Temptations. He failed to show up for this show, which caused the rift where he left the Temptations.
So this mall has a place in the R&B history.
A quote venue.
Yeah.
That's all I learned about it. Yeah, so there's that. And also this fun little fact, this guy Dave, he worked at a restaurant in the mall when it first opened. And a few years after that, he worked at Sears. And he says, the pop vocal group, the quote, Village People, performed at the opening ceremony for Sears.
Ooh.
So.
What a time to be alive.
What a time, and now it was just sold in foreclosure.
So, but it's opened, so you can still go to this mall on a date.
It appears it's still open. Perfect place for a date. Go to the food court. It's probably a Chick-fil-A. Don't go on Sundays. And it's called the Lake Forest Mall.
There you go.
That's all I got.
Nice. Okay. Well, Amy, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'll go.
Is this going to be something we can do on a date?
I'm sure we can make it a date somehow. We'll see. It turns out that in May 2010, the city approved this plan for something called Science City. which I was really excited about because I imagine the 50s and like flying cars and such. It was nothing as exciting.
Science City.
Yeah, but it was a 17.5 million square foot center for bioscience research.
Okay.
And they was also going to strengthen their odds for getting this rapid transit system with 4 light rail stops. Yeah,
4.
super exciting. But there were a bunch of people that were apparently really opposed to it. They kept talking about the size of it. It's apparently the size of 4 pentagons, which I don't know why. That's a comparison that anyone ever makes.
That's a really specific form of measurement.
And
Yeah.
I know.
Wouldn't that be, how many sides is that?
2 to 9?
I don't know. We'll strike that question from the record.
8. Anyway, and they were also upset because they were saying that with the development of this, the average speed in that area would go from 55 miles an hour to 10.
Oh.
Anyway.
They don't want the traffic.
Yeah.
Science City.
Yeah. So
More like slow down city.
Snail City.
So fast forward to today, it is now called the Shady Grove Science Corridor, and it is just about as far as it was in 2010. They have some funding. People are still complaining about it. And yeah, they haven't gotten very far at all. There's a lot of plans and not a lot of movement.
All right. Well, coming soon, Gaithersburg.
Yeah.
You got an abandoned mall that maybe there'll be a stop there on
The possibility of some hospitals and academic institutions.
science.
Someday.
Someday.
Well, I have a science tie-in.
Well, great.
If we want to go there. So, this will come around. This is something you can visit today, but I want to get a little bit of back history. Gaithersburg is the site of one of the 6 global locations for the construction of that were constructed the International Latitude Observatory. This was a project that started in 1899, and it was part of a project to measure the Earth's global wobble on its polar axis.
Whoa.
The 5 other locations were in Japan, Italy, Russia, and there were a few in the United States. And it was all about measuring polar motion.
This is like some Dharma Initiative stuff.
I know, all the way back in 1899. As of 2007, what remains of the observatory is the only National Historic Landmark in the city of Gaithersburg.
Wow.
So you could visit it on a date. But it'll take you about 2 minutes because it's a shack.
Well, is it in Science City?
It's not. It's a 13 square foot
Shack.
shack.
It's just somebody's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Closet.
So you can what remains. So it was in operation until 1982, and then computer technology made what it did obsolete. So it stopped observing Earth wobble at that point. It sits on the north side of DeSelum Avenue, just north of the Gaithersburg High School campus. It's a small gable-roofed building that has a small shed. There's a lot of details on the Wikipedia page about its foundation and structure, which we won't get into for this shack. Apparently the site was really specifically chosen for its location in the world to help measure its point. Anyway, you can go see the shack.
Yeah.
But if that's not of interest to you, you could visit locations associated with the film Body of Lies, filmed in Gaithersburg in 2007.
Body of Lies?
Yeah, let me tell
One
you
is
about
Body
it.
of
Yeah.
Lies.
Okay, Body of Lies.
Sounds familiar.
Okay, Body of Lies, filmed in 2007, released in 2008. It's an American spy film directed and produced by Ridley Scott. Set in the Middle East, it follows the attempts of the CIA and Jordanian intelligence to catch Al-Salim, a terrorist. Seems very much of its era.
Sure.
Let's see
who
who
are
it stars.
stars?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo.
Russell Crowe.
Russell.
No one else I've heard of. It was filmed in multiple locations in Gaithersburg. You can just do a tour, watch Body of Lies a few dozen times just to really get the sense of the film, and then just like stroll through Gaithersburg, see what you recognize.
Yeah, and then you can take the science train all the way to Washington to see the real Body of Lies at the State House. Capitol Building.
Biting political commentary from Kevin over here today.
Arr.
All right, well, so that's what I think you should do in Gaithersburg. Chris?
I don't have anything date related because it was too hard to figure that out. But, so I went on a deep dive to try to figure out why it's named Gaithersburg. And I found next to nothing. Because apparently it's just named after some dude named Benjamin Gaither. But he's not, as far as I can tell, a notable person. I think, like, well, it was initially called Logtown.
Really?
Yeah.
That's way better.
That's
Yeah.
such a good name.
So what I'm guessing is, like, at some point, they stopped being about logging. And so they were like, hey, we have to come up with a new name.
Yeah, Science City. No.
And they're like, Ben, let's name it after you. That's like I really couldn't find anything about Benjamin Gaither.
I will say that's surprisingly common. Like, as
Yeah.
we've come across tiny towns, like, they're named after nobodies.
Yeah, I really thought all the towns like that are named after people, it's people of merit.
Right.
It's people that like did something to like really.
No.
It's always this.
You
Well,
just have to be there.
the
You
friend of
literally have to be there. Like, when we talked to Chrissy,
Yes.
what was the name of that town?
Jingles.
Yeah, Jingles, named after her great-grandfather, who was just some guy.
He was just a dairy farmer
Right.
that lived there.
And people liked him.
Yeah.
So after he died, they named the town
Yeah.
after him.
That's kind of sweet, though.
It
that
is sweet.
You don't have to be like a big historical figure.
No. But did you find any, like, enduring love for Ben Gaither?
No, there's really no information about it. Well, I guess like at one point, the town post office was located in his store. So he was probably someone of note. in
Right,
the
a local
community.
merchant.
Yeah.
Yeah, did he say what kind of store?
No,
Oh,
it didn't.
just
It's just a store.
Maybe a general store.
A store that sells generals.
Yes.
Yeah, Colonel stores down the block.
Another interesting fact is in 2016, it was the most diverse city in the U.S.,
I saw that too. I thought that's really interesting.
which was really surprising. Like, I don't think of anything in Maryland being diverse, but I guess it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's something like whenever I'm thinking about travel, like that is always on my mind. Like that's part of the reason why I don't like traveling outside of Austin in Texas. Because like it's not that I'm afraid like someone's gonna beat me up for not being white, but it's just like I feel my difference more. So like I'm very conscious of that when I think about traveling to other cities.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I totally go to Gaithersburg.
Yeah, you hang out there.
Yeah.
You'd see the International Latitude Observatory.
Yeah.
I know that. I know you're really into like observing shacks.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you know that about me. Finally.
No,
I've
I'm
been
finally
dropping
been
hints.
listening.
Well, this is pretty good.
It seems like a fairly interesting big city.
Yeah.
Big is relative, but
Yeah,
the last city we did had 41 people in it.
We're getting little pieces of America all over the place, different little slices. 60,000 people, I think, is a pretty standard city size.
I think you're right.
It's pretty good. And it goes by many names. Logtown, Science City,
Body of Lies.
Body of Lights. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for this special Valentine's edition.
Uh-huh.
You can check us out on Facebook, Roadtrip Roulette on Facebook, roadtrippod.com, like we said earlier. We're also on Twitter and LinkedIn. You can find all those links through our website or through Facebook.
That's right.
I was happy to be part of the research team.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
That's the famous slogan.
That's
of-
what we call
Yeah.
Kevin's office.
Okay.
The
Uh-huh.
Thunderdome. No.
It's quite the place.
You'll see it eventually, listeners. And you'll be glad. It'll be worth the wait.
You'll be glad you saw it.
Thanks again, and as always, please don't tell them we sent you.